Hi there, welcome back to Watcher of Realms. We're anticipating the latest legendary heroes coming very shortly. We're going to have a little backstory and analysis of who they are and what they're all about and what they're capable of with their skills. And I'll be sharing with you my thoughts, opinions, reactions on them, as well as some additional photos later on from the Discord group. In addition, if you haven't already, be sure to check out my earlier video, breaking news, compensation being given out to players of the game due to the recent controversy. If you want one of the official responses by, I guess, one of the members of the team, make sure to check my previous video out, or a link will be down below in the pinned comment section, but make sure to check it out, okay? So where do we find this news? I believe it's in the notice area. And here we go. So we've got a hero trailer for Vienna. I did try clicking on it, but unfortunately it keeps freezing or it crashes, so I'm not able to play that video. But let's look at the hero skills of Vienna, who is a mage, a legendary mage, okay? You can see her design on the right hand side, wearing a crown, got some skulls and skeleton bones upon her. It says, beset by black magic, this scorned queen now wields it malicious. Okay, we've got the tile screen there. As for the area she covers, not exactly long range from the looks of it, but covers a fair bit of surface area. Does this make me believe it's some kind of AoE damage? Well, I guess we'll get a better idea lower down. Talent. Basic attack applies Mortal Kiss to the target. Mortal Kiss deals AoE major damage equal to a certain percent of the caster's attack to both the effect bearer and the surrounding enemies. Airborne units take half the damage. Okay, so AoE damage more for waves of enemies. So this suggests maybe the tides, if that's what you call it, mode, as well gear raid 1 to prevent those waves of enemies. Deal a fair bit of damage as well. The fact that Vienna can target airborne units as well, although less damage, shows that, you know, she's kind of multifunctional. That's good to know that. Yeah, and with being a mage, Vienna will be good against heavy enemies, as mages do more damage towards heavy armored enemies. Okay? On the right, capabilities, execution, continuous damage. Okay. Seems to be based on attack, so the caster's attack, the more it is in percentage, the better AoE damage dealt. So that seems pretty simple, that to follow, and you take into mind how to build her out, probably attack percentage, bonus gear, as well as maybe crit damage and crit rate if possible. But you want to be prioritizing attack percentage first of all. We've got the skills here down below with Vienna. Basic attack deals major damage to one enemy. Attack speed bonuses do not affect basic attack. Okay. The ultimate skill deals massive AoE damage to enemies in range, which covers a fair few tiles as what we've seen above. Executes enemies with HP below a certain percentage after a short delay. Elite monsters and bosses are excluded. Fair enough, that's just to balance things, because it would be very overpowered if it wasn't restricted to that extent. But when it says execute enemies, does that mean like instant death? If it's below a certain percentage of health? Interesting. And massive AoE damage in range. Are we talking about continuous damage like Zealous, how to deploy that like liquid stuff, and then when you walk through it you take damage for a length of time? Anyway, the passive for Vienna is extracts the soul of every enemy killed by her into the crystal on her staff. She can collect up to a certain amount of souls. Each soul increases her attack by a certain percentage. When there are at least 2 enemies in range, she consumes souls and attacks more enemies. Okay, so it's definitely really built around her attack. Do you want to be prioritizing attack speed? Maybe not so much. Oh, she's got another passive as well. Wow, applies Bone Shield. Bone Shield reminds me of Bone Armor from that blessing in Raid Shadow Legends. That's interesting. So, provides a shield to the ally with the lowest HP percentage in range for a period of time. The skill's cooldown is reduced for every kill up to a certain time limit. Bone Shield increases passive damage, or is it passive damage? Reduction by a certain percentage and deals AoE damage equal to a certain percentage of attack to nearby enemies per second. Airborne units take half the damage. Okay, once again, more for ground units. I get that. So you definitely want to be prioritizing attack and damage. You do more damage, you take the enemies out quicker. It will help your ultimate, and it will also help improve the passive. So if you kill enemies quicker, you're going to be applying the Bone Shield more effectively to allies, which then leads to them being kept alive for longer. That's a positive, that. And a bond skill, not really seen this before. Obtain Silas, the Blind King, to unlock the following bonus effect. Bone Shield restores extra HP equal to a certain percentage of the caster's attack. Okay, that's pretty good there. So once again, rounded to attack. More attack means more damage, wiping out enemies quicker, which helps the passive and also helps this restoration of HP. Kind of like a healer inbuilt within a mage. That's very good, that. But the condition is you do need Silas, who is another legendary. Are you going to be able to pull both in like the same event? Probably not, unless you've got a lot of resources. If you're a whale, if you're a kraken, if you're a full-on content creator, you might stand a chance. But as for the normal human, probably not possible. To even pull them will be a task in itself, but I'm sure if you manage to pull the likes of Vienna, even without Silas, she will be good enough with her abilities and having 2 lots of passives, which is better than some of the other legendary heroes out there. Okay. So we'll be looking forward to Vienna, and I believe from Mac Bucket, so that's how you say his username, his tier list rates Vienna as an S+ champion, I think both early and late game, so that's definitely positive. If you pull Vienna, you should be happy, okay? Now let's look at Silas and see what he's all about. He's a marksman, legendary. That's good. Marksmen are very good and valuable in the game. It says, a sightless exiled king, nevertheless devastating with a bow, paired with Vienna, he's nigh unstoppable. Okay. As for the grid square, it looks the same. The range doesn't look too good unless I'm looking at it wrong, but from what I can see on here, the range is lacking considering he's a marksman, but oh well. What's the talent? Deals extra damage to airborne units after launching a certain amount of attack, triggers soul sniping for the next attack. Soul sniping deals massive damage that ignores part of the target's defense. Well, that's great, that. You know, you think back to Raid Shadow Legends when maybe you didn't have savage gear or cruel, but the character you had an ability within to ignore defense of a target. That's good. Makes up for it. Is there gear in this game which ignores defense? Not that I'm aware of up to now, but you know, I haven't progressed all the way. If it does exist, or if it's introduced down the line, pair that up with Silas, then you'll only be doing more damage and more capable. Capabilities: anti-air defense penetration. So Silas is kind of like Brienne, but probably better. Don't know about the range though, that kind of is a bit negative. Basic attack deals damage to one enemy, prioritizing airborne units. Right, so basically Silas will be good for Gear Raid 3. Okay. So worth taking that into mind. As well, Silas will be good in the campaign for certain areas when you got those flying fish that come on in. or those like big mosquito things, right? You know, if you're getting stuck in the campaign, I'm sure these characters will definitely help you in some way or another. The ultimate skill of Silas, damage increases and each attack becomes soul sniping that ignores all defense of the target for a period of time. That's pretty good. Now, this sniping, does it increase the range when that ability is being in use? Does it increase the range? I've not seen that yet. What's the passive? If a unit within attack range dies, increases damage for a period of time, this effect can be triggered up to 1 time within a period of time. Right, if a unit within attack range. So what? If an ally passes away, then you do more damage. Once again, another passive, 2 lots. After attacking the same target for some time, inflicts Eye of Curse upon the target for a period of time. Eye of Curse will be triggered only 1 time every once in a while. Soul sniping will deal extra damage to the targets inflicted with Eye of Curse. Right. But what does Eye of Curse actually do? For a period of time, Eye of Curse will be triggered only 1 time. So it's not that often. So it's like, would you call it RNG? Not really, just more so lack of frequency. Bond skill, obtain Vienna, the Wraith Queen, to unlock the following bonus effect. During the effect of Shadow Cloak, soul sniping deals extra percentages of damage. Okay. During the effect of Shadow Cloak. Did we see where Shadow Cloak was? It doesn't seem to mention all the details, at least from what I can see here. And we got the trailers, showcase. Yep. Oh, there you go. Gear Raid 3, just as I expected. August sneak peek. The Void Rift. We'll be taking that into mind. I think it's going to be difficult, that, though. I've struggled with the campaign Void Rift. We've got Puzzle Challenge and Discord. I did do that. It took me about 10 minutes. I'm not that good with puzzles. Slow and steady. I don't think I would have won anyway. So yeah, these are the new characters coming on in on a ×10, which does tie in line. Hold on a second. Give me a minute. Is it on events? When we look on here, look, there you go. Invocation of Spirits, limited rate up, ×10 chance. Does it increase the chances of pulling a legendary character or an epic character in general? No, it's just that if you just so happen to pull one of those rarities on normal rates, the chances of a specified character, such as on this list, is 10 times more likely. Along that line, see if that makes sense. But if everybody is still watching right now, be patient, okay? You see it starts Thursday, coming soon, but look further to the right on Saturday. This coming Saturday, you've got an Invocation of Spirits limited rate up ×2 chance of legendary heroes, ×2 chance. That applies to both normal summons and divine summons. And whilst that starts on Saturday, the ×10 of the new characters coming on into the game, the 2 legendaries, Silas and Vienna, does tie in line with Saturday's ×2 legendary event. So if there's anybody pulling for the new champions, hold off. Don't open anything until this coming Saturday, okay? Wait till this coming Saturday and then open your shards or your diamonds or your other currencies. Open it then, so you still get the ×2 chance of pulling a higher rarity, such as a legendary, and it ties in line with the ×10 chance of it being a specified character, such as one of the new ones. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. We've got some additional photos to look through. We'll do that right now regarding these new characters. Here we are, we got some additional photos, material, nice artwork regarding Vienna, new hero introduction. On the left, damage output, recommended gear, and battle compatibility. So it just gives a bit of backstory to how they can be used. Vienna is an incredible AoE mage with the ability to execute enemies in a wide range. That's good to know. Skills on the left, what we read out earlier. Her ultimate allows her to kill low HP enemies instantly. That's good. So once the HP goes down of the enemies past a certain point, then that's it, game over. They're being wiped, eliminated, boom, move on to the next load of people. That's very good, that. So would you have to prioritize rage regen to generate it quicker and for it to be more frequent? Maybe. I feel that Vienna will probably team up well with Dolores. You know, Dolores. You increase her attack and you increase this person's attack. Boom, synergy right there. It says her basic attack can inflict continuous AoE damage. That's good to see. Now, I can't remember what the other person's called. Was he called Osirian, or something, that like Egyptian type mage? He did continuous AoE damage as well. Never really built him up because people said he wasn't worthwhile. But the likes of Vienna, probably definitely worthwhile focusing on her if you do manage to pull her. Okay. As for the artwork and how she appears, right? Like a dress, gown, and a crown. Got the staff, which is of like a skeleton's hand holding an orb. Yeah, it looks good visually. The darkness behind her. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. Recommended gear in early stages. Prioritize building on Vienna's attack so that she can serve as the main damage dealer in your team. Fair enough. And then in later stages, you can shift your focus towards maximizing her crit damage for optimal impact. That makes perfect sense. You progress further on in the gear raids, you manage to pull maybe mythical gear, let's just say, or slightly enhanced ancient legendary gear. You manage to get the crit rate ring or the crit rate amulet, whichever one it is, which has a main stat of crit rate, get up to about 60% or so. Boom, there you go. Makes it easier to then fill out the rest of your character with the gear pieces more focused on crit damage. Yeah, it's looking good, okay? Late game 2-piece set Warlord, 3-piece set Ageless Wrath. I don't know if I've pulled any of those yet. It depends which gear raid level I'm on, but looks good. Early game 2-piece set Calamity or Raffle Onslaught. Is the Raffle Onslaught to do with Rage Regen plus attack or something? 3-piece set Fracture and Sticks. How do you say that? Okay. That's good, this. Provides you a bit of insight what to expect and how to build the person for the future. Skull of Desecration. Equip Vienna with the Skull of Desecration artifact to amplify her AoE damage and unlock her maximum damage. Okay. Output. Take that into mind. Skull of Desecration artifact. They're the ones you can craft, right? Whilst battle compatibility, Vienna wields the potent and relentless AoE damage abilities backed by a devastating ultimate that swiftly annihilates monsters. Gear Raid 1. Take in mind that instant death mechanic past a certain health point, it will not apply to bosses or elite units, as it said earlier on. Makes sense. Arena AoE DPS challenge, sustained DPS challenge. Is that like where it's used for? I guess so. Gear Raid 1. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. You probably could use her for Gear Raid 3 as well. Not exactly advised, but if you're lacking on heroes at the time, she can be used, right? Because she does also target air units. Although it's not a priority, although the damage is halved, it still does something, right? Just to take in mind. Now we got Silas, the marksman, giving the same debriefing of the person. And you can see the background as well, how it like fades out to who's in focus of this limelight and the highlight itself. So they pair up, as we see. Here we go. A lethal marksman capable of bypassing enemy defense, delivering devastating single attack target damage to units with high defense. Right. Units with high defense. So what? The enemy has to have high defense? Huh. Anyway, anti-air. During his basic attack, Silas prioritizes targeting airborne units and deals extra damage to them. There we go. Gear Raid 3 in the bag. Defense penetration. Silas gains the ability to ignore a portion of enemy defense after landing multiple attack. Furthermore, his ultimate allows him to bypass both defense and major resistance of his targets. Okay, so the bypassing resistance of targets is very good, that. Okay. Recommended gear. Silas with unparalleled single target damage output in your go-to core damage dealer. Equip him with gear that enhances attack and crit damage to unlock his devastating potential. Late game, Warlord, 3-piece set, Ageless Ref. Okay. So, more so on the late game side, it's like building them out kind of in the same way as Vienna. Yeah, it's basically the same. Okay. But you got to associate that one built for damage, raw damage and power there regarding ground units, and then Silas for airborne units. So they do complement one another very well. And the Never Messenger. Never Messenger is a perfect choice for heroes like Silas who excel in single target damage. This powerful artifact enhances the wearer's damage with consecutive hits on the same target. Okay. And of course that makes sense because obviously the more hits you do on that enemy, it does improve elsewhere. Anyway, battle compatibility, guide boss. Silas ultimate grants defense penetration, perfect for swiftly breaking the guide's boss shield. That's a good point, that. I get that. Artifact material raid. With his high defense penetration, Silas effortlessly pierces through high major resistance and defense bosses in these stages, and gear raid 3 of Course Conqueror with Silas' unrivaled anti-air strength. Okay. So, as said, just want to stress once again, if you're trying to target these new legendary heroes and that times 10 chance is coming up, wait, be patient, wait till Saturday when the times 2 chances of pulling a legendary occur in parallel with a times 10 chance of pulling that specified character. Okay. As for me, I'm hoping to get Vienna. I'm more excited with her rather than Silas. Silas, in my opinion, seems a little bit boring. Might surprise me down the line if I do manage to pull him. But I just want Vienna. She's a mage. Mages are pretty good in the game and satisfying to use. I really need someone like Vienna when it comes to the gear raid 1 because I've not been able to pass to the point of getting mythic gear. So I need a big boost there. And we see how things go. Now, one thing I didn't really highlight, but you would have seen a glimpse of it earlier on in the video, the epics that are available. Are they any good? You got some kind of like lizard or reptilian guy. I think it's to do with, is it developing crystals or bombs, which then does more damage. Not really interested in him personally, but I think some people said that he can be a unique character if you build him in a certain way. There is like an epic shield character that could be very good in a sense, who can heal either themselves or heal somebody else nearby. So it's like an inbuilt healer, alongside with holding the line and holding back enemies. And if you're in a situation where you need another shield character, you plot them in, put someone behind like a piercer, like Apsan, and then boom, you got the damage, you're holding back the enemies, and so on. You can pair her up with Rex, depending what the alleyways are like on the map structure you're on, okay? So it's mainly the legendaries you should be excited for and looking out for in general. As for the epics, they're not that great, but you know, you still got chances of pulling other epics out there that could be better. Just depends on the times 2 chance and the times 10 taking effect as well. So hopefully you understood the video. Make sure to check my earlier video out about that compensation that will be coming out, and I'm sure it'll probably tie in line with this week's event, and that will be good for all of us, okay? So be patient, hold off for now, and we'll see what happens next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, good night for now.